Welcome to this new episode of your podcast, where together we will find between discussions the space to generate doubts about what we have always learned. My name is Jason Gonzalez, and this is pocaluzstudio, your space to understand the world in a creative way.
Hola, hola! We are back with the English episodes. Such a great day to come back with a fantastic episode. We are here today with our number 13. I'm so happy today because I'm with such a talented and passionate person. Her movements relate tropical flavor rhythms on a dance floor. She easily blends in with the Latin dancers at any Latin party. She's an international bachata and salsa dancer for years and now an instructor of these rhythms. The interesting fact, born and raised in Hong Kong, bringing Asian culture to the Latino dance floor. She is Ariel Yeung. Please, welcome to pocaluzstudio. How are you?
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. It is definitely an honor to be here today.
Come on, thank you. I'm so happy with your presence here. Um, Interesting fact, how do you choose your name? Because that's the thing is about the Asian people, they can choose their names really freely. Why do you choose Ariel? What's the
Actually,
interesting?
that's actually really funny because a lot of people are like, "You're Asian. You should have a Chinese name."
Yeah.
But because my mom was studying overseas, she's always wanted me to have an English name because if I go abroad, people won't be able to pronounce a lot of Chinese names. So that's why she's decided to name me Ariel, and that's actually on my passport.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. And
Well, like, she predicted your future? Like,
no, actually, it's such a funny thing because she was studying in Australia and she asked her professor to help name me. And then the professor called me Ariel due to the composition that they were doing, which is Shakespeare's yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why they wanted to make my name from, the Shakespeare play, and that's why, yeah, I'm called Ariel.
That's so inspiring.
Yeah, which is very interesting. Yeah.
All right, so thanks for coming again. So let's start with this interesting conversation. Dance is a social experience that people consume and imbue with cultural meaning. Therefore, studying dance from a sociology perspective can tell us about its identity and community formation, and new social, economic, and cultural dimensions of the human experience. Dance has played an important role in many societies throughout the world. Almost every culture has a type of dance. Dances can be religious, recreational, ritualistic, or community building. They can be major tools for cultural expressions and asserting one's ethnic identity. So today we're gonna talk about Latino dancing with Asian background. Firstly, tell us a little bit about yourself, Ariel. How do you go from Hong Kong to Australia, and when do you discover your passion for bachata and salsa?
Ooh, very interesting question. I'm going to start with the first one. I moved from Hong Kong to Australia for universities because I'm studying at UQ and I'm studying medicine.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was quite a jump. Luckily, it's not too much of a difference since I studied in an international school. So I'm able to fluently speak in English with a lot of people. So it wasn't a big change from Hong Kong to Australia.
Okay.
For bachata salsa, it was quite a long story. It started off, I was dating a Latino from Bogota, here in Australia.
That's love.
Right,
Somewhere.
right. It's always that. So I was actually in the Latina Fiesta, which was last year. They had this upcoming Latin festival with a lot of foods and a lot of.
It was actually a
performances.
new thing.
It was actually completely new. I only started last year, a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and actually the demonstrators who were on stage doing the salsa for beginners was actually one of your special guests from the podcast, LA.
Alejandra, Ale
Yes,
Caicedo,
yes.
of course.
She was the one who was actually on the stage dancing with Diana. And then
Oh.
from her, I just became friends with her because she was like, "Oh, you know this?" I was like, "No, it's just my first time." And back then, I was dating my ex, and I wanted to familiarize myself with his culture since it was getting very serious. Sooner or later, I heard that he wanted to bring his mom from Bogota to Australia to take care of her.
Okay.
And so she is a retired salsa instructor from Bogota. So I thought I wanted to familiarize myself with the dance scene here. And so I started off to go to Cloudland for the free
Ah,
salsa
this is a
classes.
favorite place for everyone to
I
dance.
love it. It was the hit place back then. Despite things didn't work out between the both of us, but I still wanted to continue that Latin dancing because it was my short-term escape
Yeah.
from all the pain after the whole breakup. It was really heartbreaking, and I just wanted to continue it since it just made me forget about the pain, forget about what's going on, and it's just you focus on making friends, socializing, and just dancing. And that was what really captured me. That's why I went into salsa like that. And eventually, I became more confident with my dancing. Someone recommended me try going to Soundgarden, which is the host by John Luke. And later on, slowly I did his lessons, and slowly from Cloudland, I swiveled to Soundgarden, and later on to Hey Chica, which is Wednesday night, which I really did enjoy. And from there, I slowly found out other people doing different dances, which is bachata.
Yeah.
So I slowly looked into it because I only knew salsa since Cloudland only did mostly salsa. And there's a lot of Latinos that are dancing, and that's why I've got a lot of that lessons or from just dancing with a lot of Latinos, seeing the rhythm, seeing how they move their body, and it just really fascinated me since they're very outgoing and not shy to show off a lot of the skills. So I think I embodied a lot of those um, traits.
You were learning so fast for just 1 year, like really.
I think
Wow.
it's definitely because of the drive of love for dance, which gets me into doing things much in a quick and deeper level since I really do enjoy it and I love it to the point I'm almost dancing every single day, which is pretty insane from zero experience from dancing
Yeah.
to now a teacher and instructor to teaching dancing.
That's great. Well, I found a different kind of articles and books online. I did a little bit of research. So I found this, the Transcultural Sound Practices by Alejandra Frontman. She say it's interesting how music can be a bridge between cultures. Talks about how Afro-diasporic music like salsa has crossed borders and adapted to new cultures while keeping its essence. Yeah. In your case, what initially captivated you about these Latin rhythms? What's the music? Is the dance? Is something else? It's something else. What's the real reason that you found such a really passion for that you enjoy a lot?
Definitely from Cloudland, the whole atmosphere itself, like with Gus's Chukale band playing live music all the
The
time.
Gustavo, the master.
Yeah, with so many people just over there, just laughing and having fun with each other, with the friends. That was a very big, important thing. And me being Asian, I'm thinking I won't be able to easily get into the circle since I don't speak Espanol. I don't dance properly. I'm not from the culture. But because you have the heart to learn their culture, they adapt and then they let you in, so you become familia. So which is very nice, and because of that dynamic and atmosphere which drove me to a deeper level of love for dancing and to be able to see those people and then dance with them and have a laugh. It's so nice after a stressful day or from heartache.
That's very nice. But do you work in something else or you're really dedicated 100%
I
on
mean,
dancing?
for dancing, it's just like a side hustle. I also own a few businesses as well, and I'm also studying as well. So studying is full time, but I also do a few of my works.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Well, dance has a unique power to connect people from different backgrounds. According to Helen Thomas in her book, Cultural Sociology of Dance, dance is a form of cultural expression that unites communities across borders. I found an article called Introduction, Dance, a Social Life and Cultural Practice. That's Marusia Pusnik. That's article from the University of Slovenia. And she said this: from the anthropological point of view, dance can be deemed as a cultural practice and as a social ritual, whereby dance is seen as a means of aesthetic pleasure and a means for establishing ties and a specific structure in the community, as you said before. Dance as a social ritual can be considered the light of the symbolic aspects of a specific culture and the light of the process of identification and differentiation through the meanings that it produces for the individuals in this culture. How do you think Latin culture and Asian culture, particularly, well, that from Hong Kong, of I don't know, because that's the place that you are, um, intersect or complement each other in your experience? If you, I don't know if you've been asking yourself before about that, like why, and how is this kind of cross each other?
Right. There is actually many aspects to the Latin culture and Asian culture which is pretty similar, actually. Because I've been also back and forth going to Mexico to also teach and instruct as well. So I could see there's a bit of a difference and the similarities. Whereas the Latin culture, everybody is very taking care of their family, taking care of the elderly. It's the same as Asian culture. Discipline is also very strong rooted in the Latin culture as well as the Asian culture. So there's many
Do you
similarities.
think we have discipline? Sometimes we feel like, oh my God, we need more discipline in a lot of things.
No, I actually like your disciplines more, actually, like making your kids clean the house all the time and it's always smelling like cleaning products.
All right.
Yeah, which is a really nice discipline, making sure the kids work hard to achieve, where they want to go, and it's very similar to the Asian culture. And like I'm not very Hong Kong type of person, since I am very westernized Hong Konger, since I was been brought up with a lot of white education, and because of the international influence and my mother wanting me to learn and be more global in that aspect. So that's why it's more easier for me to be an extrovert and communicate with other people, even with different cultures. So that's why I'm so grateful for that aspect. If I was just, the typical local Hong Kong girl, I wouldn't be able to have these types of conversations, maybe even go out to dance or even teach.
That's it. Yeah, that's one of the biggest questions for myself, because it's pretty hard. I had in the past more Asian friends, and it was really hard for them to go to dance, like, because it's a really outgoing activity. Yeah, and then you have to go, you have to interrupt in another space with another person, and it's actually, that was one of my biggest questions. But now I understand your wide education. That's everything more clear.
Yeah, no, and especially being able to, when you want to become friends with someone, you want to understand their culture and what makes them pop, what makes them be so happy about their culture, and what makes them feel so unique about their culture makes me more fascinated. And being able to put yourself out there is something a lot of restricted Asians aren't able to do, since they're worried of embarrassment, they're worried for their future, always overly thinking too much instead of living life the way it is now.
Well, what you say is the most reason for Asian people to don't be so outgoing?
I think it's definitely rooted in the culture, because they're just so familiar. Like, you can see a lot of Asians always sticking with their own group of people. They don't go outside because, number one, the language barrier.
Yes.
Being what we're tamed to do is to stay in our own circle, stay with our own people, don't mingle outside, don't date anyone from outside the culture, because that way the culture is gone. And you want to preserve that culture is by staying with your own people and restricting yourself from not doing a lot of things that you're supposed to do. That's what they generally think, and that's what sometimes my mom wants me to be like that and be restrictive, but it's hard for me since I had so much of that white influence and being
Yeah, like it's
extroverted.
hard.
Yeah, it's definitely very hard for me because I'm very outspoken and I'm very easy to talk to people. Since I really enjoy that and I see the value in communication with people.
Yeah, that reminds me of one of my friends that I used to study English with her. She was from Japan,
Mm.
but she
Oh.
created another account in Instagram just in English, and I was really confused about it. I say,
Mm.
why you don't?
Mm.
What do you mean? Like,
Mm.
oh no, it's just try to avoid problems with my family
Mm.
and my friends. I say, what do you mean? Like, it's not like it's not a nice thing to keep doing another language. You
Yeah.
have to keep your Japanese language. Say what? Okay.
Yeah, that's a big problem. I'm actually sort of in that similar situation. I have another account for only close friends due to
Mm.
very because my parents, my mom especially, is a bit of a tiger parent, so she's very controlling
Mm.
with what I post.
Okay.
Since it took her only recently 2 years ago to be able to allow me to use my own social media and to be able to help her open her own Facebook. Actually, I've been sharing my accounts with her until I
Wow.
was 20 and now I'm 23. So,
Okay.
which is quite insane since, everything has to be very careful and I can't post a lot of photos that I feel confident. For example, if I want to pose with like my friends in the beach with me in a bikini, that's absolutely restricted. You can't do that because you're showing off your body. It's a stereotypical, you're giving men the view that they want. You're not trying to make them ponder what's underneath. This is very low level. It's disgusting. You're showing your body like that. But for me, it's just I see myself as being very confident. I love my body. I love, the person who I am and how I was shaped to today. And that's why I share it because I feel confident and I like what I post.
I think we are changing slowly the world, like just slowly because we are new
Mm.
generations and
Mhm.
it's just part of the process, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. So coming back to the dancing,
Mm. Yeah.
um, do you have any Asian students?
Actually, I was teaching Latin dancing in Hong Kong, bachata.
Okay.
Yes, but it was
How's that? Like,
oh
because this, well, what we're saying is kind of,
right. No, it's
whoa.
it's definitely hard for them because there's so many hip movements that they're not familiar with.
Okay.
Like for example, they're very stiff in the hips because they're so worried that they're gonna have problems, they're gonna get injured, they're gonna fall. But these different things are what makes the dance more harder because you need to keep your balance, you need to make it look pretty even though it hurts. And a lot of things, for example, bachata is not only a solo dance, sometimes it's a partner work. And what girls and guys are really uncomfortable is getting close and getting intimate.
Mm-hmm.
But salsa is a bit more of a distance, so it is relatively all right. But for bachata, because sensual bachata is very close and very intimate, and that connection is very important, what a lot of the people in Hong Kong lack is that connection and that ability to just give in to the leader and just let him lead you and just follow the connection being close. Because to the Asian culture, it's called cao soi, which is called um, picking up water, which is like how they think that men are gonna take advantage of them. But I just don't
Okay.
see it that way since dance is dance and those things are outside of dance. So
Yeah, because I know in the Asian culture,
yeah.
especially if you are the wife, you have the control
Yeah.
of almost everything, isn't it?
Yeah, so especially in Asian culture, you're only can be in very close intimacy is with your partner, but it has to be behind walls. You
Yeah,
can't show
can't be
intimacy, you can't show this, you can't show that in public. Only the maximum is just holding hands. Yeah, so it's very different compared to the Latin culture, which is people like holding hands or kissing in public, especially with dancing. everybody is just so good at dancing because they have that connection, the intimacy, the closeness.
Yeah, I heard once. I think it was a friend from I think from Asia. I don't
Mm,
know which country. They, oh, this is like having sex in front
mm,
of everyone.
mm.
Look at that reggaeton. I was like, yeah, but for us, it's not that. I mean, it's a passion thing. It's a
Yeah.
passion, I know, but yeah, it's like we enjoy that.
It's just having fun and being goofy with friends. I think that's what a
Yeah,
lot of Asians just lack, that kind of ability to let go of things and to be able to have fun in the spot. So,
yeah, absolutely. Um, do you think since you're learning salsa
mm,
and you have Asian students, how do you think is the influence of salsa and bachata in those people that they can change actually their identities? They can be the same Japanese, the same Chinese, or actually when you start to go to this kind of uh salsa lessons, bachata lessons, do you think they can change their identities a little bit, like a little bit more open, or it's just in that moment?
I think it's just in that moment you feel that way, and especially Hong Kong being such even though it's very diverse and
Mm-hmm.
very colorful
Yeah.
country, there's still that bubble where you cannot go through the bubble, you cannot be outside the box, you have to stay in your culture. And dancing itself, like Latin dancing, is just so difficult for a lot of Asian students, and many movements that they can't do. For example, back bends or dips, absolutely you can't do that because
Mm-hmm.
it is painful in the back. It's always like, oh, I can't do this because what the doctor told me, this and that. So sometimes, and especially like I think
I
the
just say, bro, you have to chill, relax,
right, and
go with the
especially
flow.
the environment that you're in kind of predicts the person you're supposed to be. For example, in Hong Kong, when I teach, I'm a bit more reserved because I want to follow their culture and make them feel comfortable instead of pushing that normal dynamic how I usually teach my Latin students to do, and
Yeah.
to be able to connect that way, which is very different because I want to respect the different cultures. Yeah, so it's a bit more difficult. So sometimes when I teach in Hong Kong, I feel like a Hong Konger, but when I go abroad, I feel like a Latina. Yeah.
So it's a challenging, and I think you find it really, or maybe you can change the way that you can teach every time that you're. It depends of the
Hmm.
place that you are.
Hmm.
That's pretty good. So, talking about difference in education, music, and art, an investigation of northern India traditional dance, Kathak, in the globalized world is done by Sarah Morelli. She examines how the traditions of teaching this dance and the whole philosophy behind it. She said have changed in modern conditions due to the radical socio-political changes in India, as well as due to the transplantation of this dance to America and its popularization. A similar case study of the transplantation of the Caribbean dances and culture to the British area is done by Cheryl Dodds, although she makes even a step further when asked a question how the Caribbean migrants in London identify with music and dance from their Caribbean homeland. This dance music practice helped them to construct and themselves as distinct from a dominant white culture. It is something like actually they feel more comfortable listening and dancing their music instead of listening white music. In a similar manner, Marisha Pusnik, because I'm reading the same article that
Mm,
I told you before,
mm.
um, she said their interest lies in examining salsa dance as a tool of interpersonal communication as a global commodities, popular culture, when exploring the various social functions that salsa can perform in global, individualized, commercialized, and highly competitive contemporary societies. She referred about how healing transformative tool is salsa and Caribbean and Latin rhythms. What do you think, from your perspective, is actually healing and transformative the salsa and bachata? What do you think?
I definitely feel that way. Like, for example, when I talked about how when I first started salsa, why I started it was because it helped me escape from my pain. When I'm just in the zone, when I'm dancing, I'm just only focusing on the music. I'm focusing with the person that I'm dancing with. That completely transform you into that state of mind where you're just so focused on the dancing, you're focusing on having fun and how to have just this, different fun techniques to do with your leader. It's definitely for sure very transformative.
Wow. That's Can you tell me which person actually, I don't know, wherever you he Australia or in our country actually changed that perspective and help you to heal with salsa and bachata? If it's someone in that kind of process, like
It's not just someone, it's all of the people at Cloudland, and just that energy, that atmosphere itself was
mm,
definitely the biggest change to be able to make me transform into that state of mind where I'm just only focused on the music, focusing on the dancing, focusing on having fun with the leader who I'm dancing with. That is
yeah.
the most important because of the environment that causes me to be in that state of mind.
And well, and according with this, how open is people to actually just not dance with you and actually open their hearts and say, "Oh, look at this! This is happening to me today." Like I don't know, because this sometimes you actually have to be like a psychologist or like okay, you have to be a friend. You have to open. It's
No, for the Latin dancing, what I really enjoy is you don't have to know someone to be able to ask someone for a dance.
good.
And that's why I always try to have a smile every time maybe advanced to beginners dancers come up to me and be like, "Would you like a dance?" Absolutely. If I don't feel like it, I'll just say, "Sorry, I just need a little break." Most of the time, I
Hmm.
forget to have a break and a water break. But that is so important of having a smile and being able to exert that positive energy so people can come up to you just randomly. "Oh, would you like a dance?" Absolutely. And you just go for it.
Yeah, that's lovely. Because every time that I'm going now is in the warehouse. It used to be in a cloud line.
There's
Um,
no more warehouse anymore.
in the oh, they're not keep doing
No
it.
more.
Oh,
No
what?
more. I know. It's so
Why?
sad. It's actually so
Oh, I
sad.
didn't know. I
So
thought
no more Cloudland and then no more warehouse. And yeah, which is
no way. I didn't
so
know that.
no more live bands, which is a bit disappointing and sad.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hear in Felons on Sundays.
Yes, they have but it's not every Sunday. It's like one
Ritual.
one month kind of thing on a
Are
Sunday.
you kidding
Yeah, so
me?
it's a bit disappointing. I think I've heard from people it's due to finance problems.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I think it was a difference because in Cloudline, if you were going early, you didn't have to pay a cover.
no, no.
And now in with the warehouse, you yes or yes, you have to pay a cover. And
Yes.
unfortunately, with the cost of living in Australia,
Yeah.
is to be honest, is something that you have to think.
I mean, definitely, like, it's definitely hard since us dancers, we don't drink at all. Why we don't drink is because we want to focus on the dance. We want to be able to focus on dancing, and if you're drunk dancing, you won't be able to pull off those same moves that you're supposed to do, and that's the problem because we as dancers don't drink. That causes us, like for me, when I went to Cloudland dancing, I didn't pay for the entrance fees. I don't drink that much, so I only go for the water, and water is unlimited. So you go to the venue to learn
Mhm.
dancing for free, come in for free, drink as much water, and then just go home, which was
You are
back
not
then for me.
consuming. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I
Well,
totally understand where the point of
no,
view
I
is.
heard that the entertainment right now is going in a big problems in Australia. I don't know, maybe international without inflation too. But I hear a lot of festivals they are canceling around Australia. The big concerts, blues festival. I don't know if you heard before the blues festival. It was a big festival in Byron Bay, and
Oh.
they canceled that one because probably it's no one is getting tickets.
Mm,
It depends how the entertainment is getting here in Australia, and
mm.
so yeah, I think it's the in to sum up is the cost of living. Oh, I don't know.
I mean, definitely like the cost of living, like all the plane tickets to invite international artists to come is definitely
Sure.
very expensive. Then especially the accommodations where they need to stay. Since I have a bit of experience with organizing the accommodations for a few international artists before in Mexico, which was very difficult. You need to make sure that they're there and that they're enjoying the place, and especially the placement where the accommodation is close by to the venue where they're going to teach is very, yeah, which is pretty high in cost. And then you have the workshops, then you have to pay the international artists, and then yeah, so it's a lot.
Unfortunately, we hope that it's coming back in somewhere the salsa nights or Thursdays or.
But now, because of no live band, a lot of people, especially this, like, I think there's this new venue that they're doing it every Thursday night, free entry, and it is called Mi Casa. Every Thursday night now. They specialize in a lot of salsa choque and salsa caleña, so it's more like Colombian salsa, and I mean there's other salsas as well, but it's in a few reggaetons like here and there. But it's a nice little venue since there's a majority is Latinos, and I'm only the only Asian in there. The only Asian there, and they're like, "Oh my God, no manchis." I'm like.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's really nice to see someone different. I think that's pretty nice. So, if we can check in this kind of personal and professional evolution, dance has a transformative power. Yeah. How do you think the Latin rhythms can be vehicles for social change? I'm gonna tell my experience when I was growing up in Colombia. For me, the clue is socializing in my family. So we grew up dancing every birthday, every Christmas, every chance to dance. It was even every weekend. Yes, celebrating with my grandparents' houses. And what we were doing is always, it was a reason to dance. It was a reason to, hey, my grandpa used to buy aguardiente. Do you know what is aguardiente?
No.
You never try? It's, I don't know, how can I explain it? Let's say like it's the vodka for Colombians. Like the vodka for Russians, that's vodka for us.
Oh,
right? Like
okay.
the typical drink in Colombia.
Okay.
It's rum and aguardiente. And I grew up with that kind of thing. Okay, let's get some alcohol, let's dance, let's celebrate our Father's Day, Mom's Day, whatever. We were celebrating the whole year. The biggest party was in Christmas, and every reason we were just dancing around, just in the living. That was it. Like that was so. So for a lot of people who actually are interested in dance, but they feel that they can't because, of course, they grew up in a different context than us. For example, like every Latino or every Latin person. What would you recommend to these people? They want to dance, but they feel that they can't, or they are afraid to give that kind of step. What will you recommend to them? Because probably they are right now watching you, or they are listening in every podcast. What will you say to them? Because they are afraid, or they feel that they can't.
It's always definitely. The first step is always difficult to be able to say, today I'm going to go dancing. It's definitely very difficult, especially for Asians, the really restricted ones. It's very difficult, but just go with it. Just have fun, have a positive mindset. You never know who you might meet. You might meet some friends, you might meet some long-lasting friends, because one of the socials, I met this couple and I just became the bestest of bestest friends with them. And we're best friends to this day. Absolutely, I love them together, Mel and Sebas. I love them so much. And yeah,
They're from Colombia?
No, they're not from Colombia. From Ecuador.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
and then we just somehow, because me just stepping out of my home and doing things for myself, because we're thinking of, it's not just, oh, I'm afraid to go dancing. As you're doing this for yourself. You only live once. You need to experience this. You don't know what it's going to be like. Because of the unknown, you should actually push yourself to actually do it more.
Yeah.
And then when you feed into it, when you have a first step into the dancing and then enjoy it, and then you meet, and all the Latinos they're all so nice, they're so friendly. Hey, come have a drink, or would you like a drink, would you like a dance? Everybody's just so happy and so smiley all the time. You have nothing to be afraid of. And especially, I'm always going to so many social parties while in Brisbane, so I would definitely offer to, like, you know, be there to like support them. And when I see people are having difficult times in the dance scene, I definitely go up and like ask them for a dance or have a chit chat. And that's the most important, is having an open mindset and just pushing yourself to do things.
That's nice. One of the biggest challenge for me when I came to Australia was, okay, if I want to go to Paris, I firstly have to go just by myself because I didn't have anyone else to go with me. And I say, okay, and I start to go to different places and say, okay, let's try to go out from my comfort zone, because
Yeah.
sometimes we are used to just be comfortable
Yeah.
in the place that I'm not feeling good.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
But when you pull your feet outside and say, okay, let's do it, let's try to different things, it's actually when you feel like really, I don't know, fresh. You
Yeah,
feel
no, absolutely.
satisfied after that.
Absolutely. I still do that. Like, I don't go to social dancing like with groups of people. A lot of people do that, but I go alone because you experience things differently and how you preserve things very differently. They see you're alone. Oh, come join the group.
Yeah,
Or
that's nice.
let's have a conversation. Since you're in a group of people, it's harder for you to come out of that group and socialize with other people and meet other new people. When you go alone, you have different experiences and conversations that are long lasting, like how I met Mel Sebas is through that, because I was alone, I was able to communicate with them, and then later on we just went to another social dancing place to dance, which is crazy. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Um, what are you thinking in now talking about personal life and this kind of your project that you have right now? Is how do you it's been changing your life, how, let's say, the old bachata and salsa music influencing your personal life right now every day? Because you're telling me like, yeah, I'm doing this every day. How is changing your personal life? Because you know that you're going out, yeah, but when you're coming back to the real life, how is changing that personal?
I definitely sometimes don't want to come back from it because it's just so, it just puts you in such a high. You
Yeah.
just can't think of anything else, you know? You just think, oh, it's such an amazing time. I had great time communicating with friends, seeing people, seeing new people. It's just so hard. Definitely listening to a lot of bachata salsa music now, not listening to any other English music. Definitely a big change. And I think from that, I've become more fitter because of dancing all the time. It's not only like an exercise for me to be able to sweat it all out, but it's also a very psychological way of de-stressing from after uni, from after, you know, just hard things in life. And it's definitely the thing that drives me to become positive.
If we talk about mental health, actually, I think it helps a lot to dance. Yeah. Um, do you have any other experience in other countries that actually you feel like that helps a lot of people? Or I don't know, you don't have to say names, of course, but examples of people that they changed their lives since they started to dance bachata and salsa. If you wanna share with the people.
Okay, no, actually, that is actually a great question. So recently in Mexico, in Puebla, I met this little boy. Oh, so sweet. His aunt was actually a fan of mine. First time actually having fans, and she introduced her nephew to me.
Yeah.
And from there, he just kept on watching a lot of my videos, and he started to get into it. And then he started to take lessons, and then suddenly seeing me in person actually doing a workshop changed him. And from there, I just kept on just inspiring him. He would sometimes message me and be telling me how much help I've given him, and that he's able to express himself a bit better, that he's more confident when he goes out. And he's a Latino boy, like he's a Mexicano. And I'm like, this Asian girl, like if I could help this little boy, I could. He's so cute. And I'm always there to support him. I'm always there when he says, "Oh, my birthday's coming up. Let's do a birthday dance. Let's do this. Oh, by the way, when I'm coming to Mexico. Oh, yeah, I'm so excited." And it's a bit difficult to communicate with him because I don't fully speak fluent Espanol. So
Yeah.
a lot of Google translation, but I hope that he understands where I'm coming from and the love and support that I have for him. And I constantly see how he's just so driven, and I can see he's always constantly posting salsa, bachata, reels out. And I'm just super, super happy for him and proud of him to put himself out there. Back then, he was just like, I'm too scared to dance. I just want to stay with mom. I just want to stay with my sister. But now seeing the way I interact with people and the fact that, hey, her being Asian doesn't stop her from doing dancing like this, like dancing like a Latina. Why do I have to be afraid if she can do it? And that kind of drives him to do it. And that actually helps him a lot. And his mom also told me, like, I remember they said that he had a bit of a problems with, like, interacting with people, and because of dance has helped him open up a lot. And especially I have another friend here in Brisbane. He told me that he also had problems with being confident and going out there to dance, but with dancing, with being able to ask people out to dance has helped him with confidence and being able to establish his personality and his way of thinking and talking to people.
It's a I understand that situation when I was growing up. The first you like a boy when you asked to the first girl that going out that to go to cat would you like to dance?
Ooh.
The first rejected
Oh,
time.
it's so painful.
Oh my God.
I know.
I can't remember the day, and it's kind of painful because you are learning how actually to don't be rejected.
Yeah.
The way that you looks, the way they actually you ask. I don't know. It's a lot of things involved.
No, definitely. I think it's more harder for guys to be rejected.
Oh my God.
It's so painful. I know. Definitely, like with the kid, that's why I'm always saying to everyone, no matter advanced, beginners, or people who just want to start, I will always say yes, because I started from the same place. I started off not knowing how to dance, putting myself out there. That's so difficult. Being able to ask is a very difficult question, and being able to accept that invitation to go dancing is even harder. So definitely, it's a lot of pressure for the guys to show off their skills or to show off how great they're at dancing and, assert their dominance. That's very difficult.
Yeah. I remember. The thing is, like first thing you have to know to dance. That's the first thing. I mean, or at least to
you're open to accepting the culture.
Okay.
I think that's a right way of saying it. You don't have to know how to dance, because when I went into it, it was just I was open to learn and to express and to see how they want me to dance before then later on, which with so many times and all that repetition has got me into knowing how to dance.
Well, something interesting is like actually every time, I mean, I used to go out more when I used to be single, but
yeah I get it.
So I used to be just found people, Asian people. It's because they know to dance. I mean, how can I say? Let's say I was going to Cloudland. And I found Asian people there. It's because they know how to dance in those places. It was really hard to find someone. No, she doesn't know to dance. No, she actually knows to dance.
No, not a lot. There's so many.
Because it was always for me like that.
No, because every time I went to Cloudland, and there's a bunch of, I remember there was this one time, there was this group of Korean people, and they didn't know how to dance. I asked them, would you like a dance? Because, I just wanted to get them out of their comfort zone, and they were just so shy. They're like, oh, I don't know how to dance. I'm like, come on. And then being able to drag them out and like show them how to dance, that was so definitely it just broke their shell a little bit, and then it's just like have a great time and a little memory that they can cherish. Not a lot of Asians know, but it's just if you have the heart to do that. And back then, of course, I had more heart because of my ex, which made me drove me into you know, actually learning to become more Latina was I cooked so much Colombian food. I cooked so
What
many,
kind of thing
like
do-
ajiaco,
Are you kidding me?
sancocho,
Ah!
chupe de papas. Whoa, I cooked
Which one was the
everything.
last one?
Chupe de papa.
Chupe papas.
There's something with the cheese, con queso, with the papas, like the potatoes. I don't remember. And then there's also the fish, um the fried fish. The
Pescado panao.
yeah, the
Tartara.
something like that. And I remember, oh, because he's telling me, oh, I want to eat this, and then I want to eat that, and then so I try to replicate as much Colombiano dishes for my ex. Like, not only was I trying to make his home food because he's like, I miss home, so you try to make the home food, and then you learn the dancing. You try to learn a bit of the Espanol. You know, I was in it, you know, for the relationship, but it.
Wow,
didn't
but
work.
you were doing 100%, like really.
I was.
Wow.
And that just continues.
But you know actually speak Spanish because the story that you did, I was like,
Un
wow, you
poquito,
know how
un
to.
poquito, like a little bit, not too much. Like the basic words that I need to use. But of course, I had a lot of help with like Google Translate
Yeah.
and being able to ask a lot of my Latino friends, what is the best way how I can communicate this way so I don't have that language barrier, because I'm always gonna have that language barrier with Latinos.
Have you been in Colombia before?
No, I do really want to go.
You have to go.
I do want to go to Bogota, Medellin, Cartagena.
Yes.
But I've been on and off going so much to Mexico.
Have to go to Cali.
I know,
the
but the
salsa's
Cali
capital.
salsa is very different because it's like salsa caleña,
Yeah.
which I'm not used to.
So you learn LA salsa? Or
So
what kind of salsa?
I do different salsa. So I can do LA salsa. I do Cubano salsa.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like these salsas, like salsas on one. Yeah.
Well, actually, like, I love salsa.
Yeah.
I really enjoy
Yeah.
dancing salsa. And I actually was shocked when I came here to Australia because it's not the same salsa that you dance in Colombia.
Colombia, yeah.
So I remember I was actually dancing with an Asian girl in that time. And I was dancing, but she was really, really lost with me because she was dancing LA, but really LA. I don't know.
Yeah, 'cause
in
LA
what
salsa-
category is the really.
Right. LA salsa is like one track. You're spinning in one track.
And for me, it was too elegant. But
Oh,
in
yeah.
Colombia, we are not elegant dancing
No.
salsa. We are more like enjoying the rhythm,
Footwork,
following
yeah.
the yeah.
Uh-huh.
So she stopped me and say, "What are you dancing?" And say, "I'm so sorry, I'm dancing Colombian salsa." I know this. I say, "I'm so sorry." And to be, and I was my first time. I say, "Oh my god," like, oh.
Yeah, no, it's difficult because like I've realized the Colombian salsa is always the back foot that goes in the front.
Yeah.
Everybody goes back and then front, but all of the other salsas in the world is always like the front to the back.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting, and a lot of Colombians always focus on the footwork, always focusing on the lower half of their body instead of the upper body. And then when you go into the other places, it's more of the upper body, lesser of the lower foot. But now that there's this fusion, it's kind of sort of mixed, so it's very important from the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like that different dynamic, and definitely salsa caleña is so tiring. I tried. It's so tiring.
Wow.
I
Even it's hard for me.
Oh, it's
I'm not from Cali, but I grew up with that kind of music. It's really
so
hard.
difficult. I tried. I cannot. It's just it's too draining. It's a lot of cardio.
It is. Well, I guess you were dancing before, like en los años 1600, like that.
Yeah.
That's the biggest challenge. That's a really long song.
Oh, I
and you have
know.
to be ready. You have to be fit to dance, kind of song.
Oh, there was another song. It's like
Oh, it's another one from Richard Ray, Bobby Cruz. I forgot the name. Guys, leave in the comments. I can't remember the name. No, I can't.
there's this a very long song. I remember.
I know it's from Richard Ray and Bobby Cruz, but I can't remember.
Yeah, no, I have to listen to the music to be able to recognize. Like, oh, it's
Yeah.
that one. It's that one.
But yeah, just like when I'm listening that song,
Yeah.
okay, I have to be ready to dance because it's so hard to dance
Oh
that
yeah.
song. Like,
Oh, what was
really.
that? No, there's another one. It's super fast one, salsa.
But it's a couple of them from
Oh
even
no, there's so
Cuban
many.
salsa
So
too. Like
many.
really, like there's a lot. There is a lot. I don't know if you want to leave any conclusion in general from your life, from your this kind of process of your dancing. To the people, what kind of conclusion will you say to everyone who is watching us or is listening us in every platform podcast? Whatever you want to say, any conclusion to really finish this kind of big and nice episode.
Definitely don't be afraid to put yourself out there. There's always going to be amazing, incredible friends that you're going to meet. I mean, I met my best friend Vivek through dancing, and we're just, just going out there, just having fun, and you never know the people you might meet. Maybe a partner, maybe a partner.
That's a big chance.
Maybe you could.
I heard a lot of stories about it.
Oh,
Tell me one story about that. Like really, that will be interesting for people.
Well, so I definitely talk about it. So I met someone actually from the World Salsa Solo, which was last year's. I wasn't intending to go there, but because I wanted to support my best friend who was doing the competition, Lewis, in there, and it's his first ever competition, and he's only been doing salsa bachata like for super like super young. I remember he was like 8 to 9 months into dancing, and he was so happy. And he's also from Hong Kong, like, but he's grew up in Australia, and so it's very hard for him.
Okay.
But he had the passion to continue that, and I was there to want to support him, and he's living in Gold Coast, and
Okay.
yeah, so I love him so much, Lewis, and I see him just keep growing in the dancing. So I just wanted to go there and support him, and then eventually I met one of the judges.
Okay.
And then,
Here you go.
yeah, I met and then so I just, I didn't know he was a judge, and I think from day one, I think I was just so tired. When he asked me for a dance, I rejected him really badly because it was the end of the social. So I was like, tomorrow, mañana.
Okay.
He's like, okay. And then the next day I see this, and then the next day I had this class, this salsa class on one. And I'm like, there's this gorgeous looking man just like walking into I remember walking into the room, and I'm just talking to Lewis. I was like, oh my God. Wait, that's our teacher? That's our instructor? Oh my God, he's so handsome. I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, wait, is he Asian? Like, because he looks very Asian, but then like he has a very like Latino, very Hispanic name, and he's like with this other girl. So I'm just thinking, that must be,
But what's his name?
like Gio.
Gio.
Yeah.
It sounds like a Brazilian name.
No.
Gio.
Yeah, Gio. So he's got Gio Ochoa.
Ah, yeah. That last name
That
is so
was
Colombian.
like super
Ochoa.
Latino. So then I just had a really great connection with him. I think I was the one who initiated the asking for a dance, because I had a great conversation with him after the class, and I was like, hey, I just, because I do this with all instructors, is because they give us the time to teach, and it's very difficult, and to be able to keep that up, with especially that when you have 1 or 2 students come up to you and just thank you, that's very just heartwarming. And that's why I went up to him, and I was just talking to him saying like, oh, thank you so much for the class. Like, definitely it just helped me bring me back into loving salsa, because back then I was just very in only the bachata zone, not any salsa, because I don't want to do it anymore. It was just so tiring. But he made me kind of realize, oh, I'm falling back into the salsa, and I just really wanted to let him know that. And just somehow we just exchanged, contacts. Later at night, I was like, would you like a bachata? Absolutely. And it's just like, that's why we filmed, we have our video together on my Instagram. And that was the very first dance we've ever had together. And I mean, like for Latin dancing, there's a lot of connections you have with people.
Yeah.
Like, you connect with people, and that's great. It's like it's it's like a performance, it's drama. You make it seem like you're into each other, but that's not the case. It's because you enjoy the connection with someone. But with him, that connection was completely out of this world. It was definitely more than that, and it transformed me even more, and I just kept on thinking about that night, and it was just so amazing. I mean, how do I connect with him? And eventually we had a deeper conversation about him, because I wanted to know about him, and I think he also wanted to know a bit about me. Eventually we kept on communicating and talking, and things are great, between me and him, and we kept on chatting. And I also went to visit him as well while I was in Mexico.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay,
oh,
all right.
I visited him twice, but the first time didn't work out because he was teaching in the US.
Okay.
So I spent that time trying to train myself with his best mate Angel. So now I'm just really thrilled to be under the guidance of Angel Figuera, which is now he's my closest of closest friends, my hermano, my family, my inspiring mentor, and just a hard worker in general. From him, because I started taking proper salsa classes and bachata classes from him, it just made me be more aware of what I needed to work on and how I wanted to teach future students. And with his guidance, I was able to understand how to become a better dancer. And without his hard training, I could never get to where I am now. Really, absolutely. I mean, like the Latin culture, everybody is just super hardworking. I'm like, why is it so hardworking? And then I went back to the basics. He put on like the weighted vest, the weighted ankles, and I started from the beginning. And it's from there,
Wow.
I was ripped open and then put back together. And now I just couldn't have done it without Angel. And really, really just
Wow. That's
so
incredible.
so thankful for him to this day, and I'm just so glad that he's always been there for me all the time, and love him so much.
That's nice, Tara.
Later on, of course, didn't work out, but I just had that friendship. Later on, recently, while going to Mexico, of course, I met up with him. um,
Mm.
and yeah, I also went to see his family.
Wow.
Yes, I
That's
went to
a
see.
really cute
Yes,
story.
yes. I went to see his family. Yeah, so it's super great. I love his mom. Love his dad, and his big sister. And yeah, no, I just got to meet everyone. I got to also teach, and I got to also pursue another passion of mine, which is filming as well, filming dancing.
Oh,
So
nice.
definitely he has been very, like, him and his sister have been a very big inspiration for me coming back into salsa dancing. I mean, without him, I would never even think of going back into salsa. So
Yeah.
definitely was a very heartwarming moment, spending time with him and his family, and I really did enjoy the connection. Yeah, so it's all great, but things have to go somewhere else, right? So it's fine. I think we're keeping it like neutral, but I
Okay.
really did enjoy that connection. But moving on, from that. But that's most great, and that's where I met so and
Well,
so. Yeah.
you see, guys, if you want to meet your
I
partner, your
mean,
future partner,
you
go for
could,
it.
you
You know what
could,
to do.
you could.
All right. So, let's give the last conclusion. Dance culture
Mm.
is a universal language that transcends borders, connecting people from diverse backgrounds through rhythms, movements, and emotions. It reflects the shared human experience, allowing individuals to express themselves in ways the words often cannot. The beauty of dance lies in adaptability. While rooted in specific cultural traditions, it can be embraced, interpreted, and reshaped by different communities across the globe. This fluidity enables dance forms like salsa and bachata, originally born in Latin America, to flourish in places like Hong Kong and Australia, creating new connections and fostering cross-cultural understanding. In this way, dance becomes a powerful bridge uniting people and cultures through the common language of movement. Ariel, please tell us new projects for you for this year or for the next year. What's coming for you?
What's coming for me? Definitely super excited for the upcoming World Salsa Solo, since I'm actually planning on doing the competition.
Whoa.
Since last year, I've only watched the competition and be supporting my friend, but I'm going to do that. And as well as that, I am also planning on going back to Mexico, not to meet him, because we've moved on. I'm also doing the Eurosun Latino competition, which is a nationals competition.
That's in Mexico?
Yeah, which is in this year. They're always in Mexico. Last year they were in Cancun, and this year they're in Puebla. So I'm actually super, super, super excited for the competition. And definitely it's like the biggest competition I could ever go to. It's nationals. You're competing against all over the world. So there's Colombianos, there's Argentinas, like everybody's going there for that big competition. And it's just been very overwhelming, but I think it's definitely my hard work will come to light and definitely be able to express my love for Latin dancing a bit more.
That's
so
lovely.
I'm super excited for that, which is upcoming very soon, and maybe make a bit more dance projects and doing a lot more other projects that I want to do and continue social dancing. And you'll see me in the social dance floors and come say hi to me.
Leave your Instagram
Yes,
just for
absolutely.
the people.
I mean, well, you can find me at Ariel Yeung. There's food and dance. No, because I'm also a food blogger, so
Yeah.
I love food. So food and dance, and then he can link it down in the YouTube or
Yes, and everywhere.
And
We are in all
everywhere.
platforms.
Everywhere.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I'm really happy with you. Thanks for all your experience here and sharing the stories with our people. Thanks to our audience. Thank you to join us in this cultural journey. Remember that the rhythm is everywhere. You just need to know how to listen to it. My name is Jason Gonzalez, and I'll wait for you in the next episode of Pocaluzstudio. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram, pocaluz_studio. And if you want to see some of my photography, JGP on Instagram. Don't forget that we are on YouTube, we are every platform, so don't forget to subscribe and share our content, all right? Music by Kit Kat Artists, a Beat platform.